Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online series 13 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We kicked off the brand new Series 13 format in the previous episode, which I've linked down in the description below, where we showcased a team featuring fun sets like Choice Scarf Victini and Magearna. This team was built by a player called Giratina-O, and they got top 8 in an online tournament right when the Series 13 rule set dropped. And so, yeah, they had a paste online, and I ended up just building it in-game, so full credits to them for the team. And yeah, I think it's just a cool way to get acclimated with the format, where we're using some things that we've used before, but trying out some brand new Pokemon as well. So, thank you so much as always for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoyed, please share your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your favorite mythical Pokemon is down in the comment section below. For me, Celebi and Mew have always been very near and dear to my heart, and so those would probably be my answers. I don't think they're very good in this format personally, but I haven't really even run into them, but I'll try to, at least feature them at some point. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, our first game of the day here, and we're up against Kyogre, Eternatus, Yveltal, Calyrex, Zacian, and Whimsicott. Okay. So, it's really hyper offensive. They could lead something like Yveltal Calyrex, Yveltal Kyogre. Just fairly scary. If we can get, like, Trick Room up with Magearna, that would be the dream. I just am trying to figure out how we actually get there, because something like a Calyrex Kyogre lead is just really oppressive. I might want to go the Tailwind route with this game, honestly. So let's say they lead Calyrex plus Kyogre. I could go with something like Yveltal plus my Kyogre with Zacian in the back, and then Victini as the fourth. Could Dynamax Kyogre. I guess, like, Max Magearna isn't a terrible option here either. Yeah, I don't hate that, actually. Victini would be valuable to just snipe something down, but I like the idea of not maxing Kyogre and actually maxing Magearna here. Because, like, Steel and Fairy is just really good coverage into my opponent's entire team composition. And what are their best answers into Magearna here? It would be something like Kyogre, just water-type attacks, Astro Barrage from Calyrex, and Behemoth Blade from Zacian. So the idea is to try to use our Focus Sash Yveltal here and try to ideally get Tailwind up. They also ran really close on time there, so let's see if they timed out. I think their top two were Kyogre plus Eternatus. So I think, yeah, this kind of team that my opponent has highlights like the struggle of trying to get Trick Room up with this team, because they just have so much damage immediately. Okay, it is Kyogre Eternatus, so maybe they did time out. Okay, so we have Assault Vest Kyogre, which is obviously really good. I can just Tailwind here immediately, which is solid. I might lose Yveltal immediately, but that's okay. Having Assault Vest Kyogre here is solid. They would have Yveltal and Calyrex in the back if they did indeed time out. I've got Magearna and Zacian. I mean, I'm not completely opposed to... I mean, I definitely want a Tailwind here. The question is what I want to do with Kyogre. I could max Hailstorm Eternatus, I could max Lightning Kyogre, I can just Ice Beam and Thunder as well. Given those four Pokemon, I think Kyogre maxing makes a lot of sense. I'm not completely opposed to just clicking Thunder on turn 1 here, because I'm not sure I want to Dynamax Kyogre, right? I brought Magearna because I want to max that, but they're going to commit the Dynamax to Kyogre, which is okay by me. It'd be great if they actually just, like, max Lightning, set up Electric Terrain, and then we just hit them with the Thunder in terrain. Given that you've committed your Dynamax to Kyogre, like, that's the biggest threat to Magearna, right? Because if my opponent has Yveltal, Eternatus, and Calyrex, like, Magearna can do good things against all of those. Yep, they just go for Dynamax Cannon, that's fine. It would make sense to, like, Dynamax Cannon Kyogre, plus, they target Yveltal, okay. That's cool. Especially because we survive, beautiful. Yveltal gets the Tailwind up, excellent. You get Thunder off into Kyogre. Pretty solid damage there. And we get a Paralysis. Full Para here would be huge. But no Para. And they go for Geyser. Okay, so doubling up onto Yveltal, it looks like. Great, I think that's a great outcome for me. Because I can switch into Zacian now, right? So we can bring out Zacian. I've got Wild Charge, but I actually think Behemoth Blade plus Thunder might just be enough to KO the Kyogre. I guess the thing is, like, do I want to leave it to chance? Like, Eternatus could have Flamethrower, obviously, right? That's its best way of hitting Zacian. Yeah, given how much Thunder did, I'm fairly confident Behemoth Blade plus Thunder is getting a KO here. So I'm down to double up into Kyogre. Kyogre could Max Guard here. That's okay. I just don't want it to potentially get a one-hit knockout onto my Zacian. So they do go for Max Guard. Okay, well done. Like, I don't think Eternatus scares me that much here, and I have a late-game Dynamax to play towards, so I'm okay, like, committing this play this turn. Yeah, they just go for Dynamax Cannon onto Kyogre. That's okay. Because essentially, they only have gotten one turn of Dynamax value at the end of the day, right? And Dynamax Cannon isn't even a 2-hit KO into Assault Vest Kyogre, which is great to see. So, the only downside is that just completely stalled out a turn of my Tailwind, where if I doubled up into Eternatus there, I probably would have just won. No, I wouldn't say I won the game, but then it's like I get a free knockout, you don't do any damage, then I can double up onto your Kyogre, so I get 2 knockouts in 2 turns, and you have no Dynamax value. Okay, they don't try to go for a double. Actually, I wonder if Wild Charge just gets the KO outright, which it may have. Then last turn it would have been better to just click Wild Charge and then Hailstorm into Eternatus potentially, or Ice Beam into Eternatus. I think the main thing to watch out for right now is the Calyrex coming out and just sweeping with Astral Barrage, so I want to be careful about that. You're gonna Dynamax Cannon, yep. Because there should be Calyrex plus Yveltal in the back. Yveltal's not really scary at all, but it's mainly the Calyrex that, you know, gives me some trouble. So I expect Calyrex to come out here. You could just double protect if you're my opponent. Yep. You expect them to double here, right? Like, so I want to switch Kyogre out into Magearna. They could just attack here, which would be kind of risky. Like, I'm down to Behemoth Blade into Calyrex here, and then switch Kyogre out into Magearna. The risk in this is if they actually just click Astral Barrage, but, like, I still have Tailwind up, so they've got to be worried about me just KOing them. Right, because I could easily just Behemoth Blade, like, Origin Pulse here, and get a KO. This is a really big turn, I think, whether or not Calyrex protects. Because if they go for it, then I reposition to a point where I get Magearna in safely, which is really nice. I could even set up Trick Room with Magearna, right? That's also a potential angle, but then it's like I just don't have a really good Dynamax option. Eternatus switches. That's interesting. Okay. Into Yveltal. Is it Specs Eternatus? And they protect. Okay, cool. That works for me. The other thing is, like, only one of these two Pokemon can carry Focus Sash. I think I'm actually down to set up Trick Room right now. I don't even know if Calyrex is going to be sashed here, truthfully, but it's not Specs. So I could go for Play Rough to just get the KO onto Yveltal. I mean, why don't I just max Magearna here, no? And double up onto the Calyrex slot? Because if I Trick Room here, I mean, I could play Rough Yveltal. I think it's better to max Magearna. Yeah, I'm down to just Behemoth Blade into Calyrex, max. Starfall as well. And it might just be like Calyrex doesn't KO the Zacian, you're not Focus Sash because your Sash is on Whimsicott, and then I just one-shot both Pokemon this turn. I don't know, Trick Room was interesting, but like, because I wouldn't expect the Astral Barrage to KO Magearna, right? But I just feel like I take so much damage, and I also, if I get crit, I lose the game. So I don't want to take that risk. Mud Shot. Okay. That's pretty cool. And it was Life Orb. Wow, that was a really neat play. Mudshot plus, okay, Trick Room would have won me the game there outright then. But if yeah, actually, I get a Soul Heart boost and I should just KO Calyrex here, so I feel like Magearna should just snowball the game at this point, but we'll see. Because I don't think Eternatus really has too much for us, right? We just got +2 special attack immediately. That's a really cool combo, though. Like, we barely saw Mudshot at all in Calyrex in Series 12. Just because, like, Calyrex wants Astral Barrage, wants Protect. And then, like, the World Championship winning set was Snarl Will-O-Wisp. Sometimes you see Expanding Force or Psyshock. But Mudshot as a means of speed control here, I think, was really clever. I just didn't account for that play at all. So, nicely done. The question now is, can my opponent handle this Magearna snowball, essentially? Because the way rain timed out is also perfect for us. Because, yeah, now Kyogre comes out, resets the rain, which is awesome. And the beautiful thing about Magearna in this endgame is if my opponent gets a KO onto my partner Pokemon, I just get another special attack boost, which is crazy. So in this position, I am down to Ice Beam. Who do I want to target with Magearna is the question. I mean, Yveltal really shouldn't have much for Magearna, so I'm down to just double up onto the Eternatus here. With Starfall and Ice Beam. See if they protect. Nope, they go for Sucker Punch. Cool. Okay, so that gives me another special attack boost, so if Magearna gets, you know, the KO here onto Eternatus, I think we should win, but we'll see. Yeah, and it's just Flamethrower in the rain. Perfect. That doesn't do that much. Can't burn us thanks to Misty Terrain, and that was a crit as well. Hopefully the crit doesn't end up mattering. I'm thinking it's Assault Vest Yveltal on their end, so like we should be able to just pick up another one-hit KO onto it, but if it's actually like Focus Sash Yveltal, I could still lose this, I think. But Magearna's at +4 now, so yeah. I think what's interesting is when I first started using this team, I was always so prone to thinking, okay, if I'm bringing Magearna, I have to click Trick Room with it. But I think this game highlights how incredible of a sweeper this Pokemon can be. So we can just Starfall Yveltal now. So we'll see if they have Protect. Okay, they do have Protect. So it's Protect, Sucker Punch, Foul Play, and a 4th. I'm also curious how much Max Starfall just does through Protect here. It's +4. Holy cow! This Pokemon is crazy. Oh my goodness. I think this game actually just changed my perspective on Magearna alone, right? Like, there's some really interesting strategies you can build around it where I think the like this game just highlighted how it's like, okay, if you knock out my partner Pokemon and you ignore Magearna, Magearna can just snowball the game out of control, right? But the problem for my opponent is that like they can't, like Zacian also exerts so much offensive pressure. So, oh my goodness. I mean, that's Magearna for you, ladies and gentlemen. That was absolutely incredible. It got to +5 special attack. It got one-hit knockouts onto every restricted Pokemon my opponent had after Kyogre, right? And I think the one play that I could have improved on this game was maybe the double into Kyogre, but I don't really regret that play either because Kyogre was exerting so much more offensive pressure relative to Eternatus there. But the key turn in this game, in my opinion, was when Eternatus or Calyrex protected, which most players would do, right? Because you're expecting me to just double up into that slot. And if they call that turn correctly, I'm actually in really bad shape going into the next turn because I'm stuck out with Kyogre out on the field. So being able to get in the Magearna in for free was really, really critical in this one. But I cannot believe how much damage it did there. That was absolutely bonkers. All right. Whoa. It's always funny to just see 6 restricteds. And so it's Zacian, Calyrex, Giratina, Origin, Yveltal, the Zekrom on Dialga. I actually think Zekrom is a fairly tough matchup for us, but this feels like a Max Magearna game, if I can get it. Like, I want to lead Amoonguss Magearna in this one, but I could go Victini Magearna as well. The idea of Amoonguss Magearna is just Rage Powder, Trick Room, Dynamax Magearna, and hopefully win from there. So I don't know how fast their Zekrom is. So what if I go with the fast route again? Like how I approached the last game. Dialga is actually an awful matchup for this team, since we don't have a fighting type attack on Zacian. Yeah, actually, how do we beat Dialga? They should bring that. They should Dynamax that. Yeah, that's a problem. Putting it to sleep would be pretty sweet. Calyrex Dialga, for example, is a really scary lead. It's so hard to feel confident setting up Trick Room when there's so much sheer power from our opponent. Okay. I'm gonna go the same mode as the last game, actually. Okay, one of my fundamental problems with Victini is that Final Gambit is a fighting type attack, and so it doesn't go into ghost type Pokemon, and my opponent has Giratina Origin Form and Calyrex. And when you're using the, like, Final Gambit, you have to have so much conviction with it, and feel so confident with it. And, like, I just don't feel confident with it here into 2 potential ghost type Pokemon. I think Calyrex is just so strong. I'm gonna go with Zacian and Giratina, okay. You know, the thing is, like, Victini could have worked here, actually, but this is okay. Ooh, is it okay? If they have Shadow Sneak, they could double up onto Yveltal immediately, which is scary. Magearna is obviously super good into Giratina here. If I were them, I would actually just Shadow Sneak, double up onto Yveltal here. So I think maybe we could drop Taunt on the Yveltal for Protect. It would be really good in this position. I think I'm down to just Tailwind and Origin Pulse here. Yeah. Let's see if they have Shadow Sneak. Yeah. Okay. They actually risked Play Rough missing there, but it makes sense. Yeah, it's just because you might not be confident on Behemoth Blade KOing there, right? I also could have Water Spouted there. Not getting Speed Control puts me back pretty significantly, so that's not great. Spout may have just KO'd Zacian there as well. It is a free switch into my Zacian, though, and I am speedy, so I don't think it's that bad. I could protect Zacian this turn. The thing is, I don't even think Giratina is that scary from my opponent's end. Surely they brought Dialga, right? I would expect Dialga Calyrex in the back. Like, I'm down to just protect an Origin... Wait, sorry, not protect. Behemoth Blade. An Ice Beam here. That was a nice play by my opponent turn 1. If I had Protect on Yveltal, I think I would just go for it. They actually just opt for Shadow Sneak, which I'm okay with. I see what they're setting themselves up for, which is Calyrex coming out and just sweeping me. Which is scary. That's why they prioritize KOing Yveltal so early on, right? Because if you get the knockout onto Yveltal, then it paves the path for Calyrex to just come out and just Astral Barrage everything. Ice Beam probably does not KO the Giratina here. But that's maybe actually more beneficial for me. Well, I guess if we get a KO onto it, they're forced to bring out their final 2 Pokemon. It should be Calyrex plus the 4th, which I would expect to be like Dialga, maybe. I think Calyrex coming out here makes a lot of sense, but it's actually just Dialga immediately. Okay. I guess I'm okay with that. Makes sense for them to just Max Quake into Zacian here. They're gonna max Dialga for sure, right? Okay, I'm down to Protect here. I do feel like I should max Kyogre at this angle, and I'm down to actually Hailstorm the Dialga because it gets chip damage. Because the thing is, Max Magearna doesn't really do well against Dialga either, so the idea is I need to just start hitting the Dialga. They're faster than us, which isn't really surprising, but not great to see. Yeah. I think, like, Dialga fundamentally actually just is really strong against this entire team, and so... As always, when you're, you know, weak to specific Pokemon, there are a bunch of different approaches you can take. You can either adjust movesets to try to tech in a little bit more for Dialga. I'm not really sure what we can really change to, like, fundamentally beat it, though, with the 6 Pokemon that we have. I think Victini is fun in theory. I just have brought it so rarely because it's so hard to feel confident with it in a format with Final Gambit. Or sorry, in a format with so many restricteds and Dynamax, I can't feel confident with Final Gambit, and so I don't know, maybe it's actually better to just like drop it for something that would give us a better Dialga matchup. Yep, there's Max Quake, not really surprising. Okay, into Zacian. That didn't really do too much. Do I ever switch out Zacian here? What are they going for here? Probably Shadow Force? Okay, Kyogre's faster than their Giratina. It's going to do such little damage thanks to the special defense boost. But honestly, I'll take that. It's slightly better than I expected. But the lack of a fighting type attack. Actually, that would be the tech. Yeah, it would just be putting a fighting type attack onto Zacian. But I don't really know what you would give up. Maybe play rough then and just run Wild Charge. There's something really loud out there. Okay. Like, I could just play rough. Double up onto Dialga here. Or I could switch out into Magearna. Someone's like drilling something outside. It's my neighbor, so if you hear that, apologies. If I can survive Max Quake on Magearna, protect Zacian, that's just too much damage, I think. I'm just gonna Behemoth Blade Dialga and Max Hailstorm it. Behemoth Blade should still do a considerable. I guess Dialga can Max Guard here. I just thought about that. Yeah. Nice Max Guard. But, like, I don't really have a clear solution here, right? Because it's like, if you're Shadow Forcing into the Zacian, I have no way around it. Yeah. Okay, I still see a way of winning, which is getting up Trick Room with the Magearna. KOing the Giratina. Actually, Giratina should just shout. Oh, no, I'm faster with Kyogre. Yeah, okay, so if I survive Max Quake on Magearna, I can still potentially win. It's looking kind of slim, but what I can do here... Also, like, Goggles on Magearna, like, we've just barely ran into Amoonguss, so maybe swapping it for Shuka Berry is actually more optimal. I'm down to continue to Hailstorm here. I don't want to change the weather, especially because we want to break a potential Focus Sash. They should Shadow Sneak Magearna, plus Quake it. Yeah. That's probably enough for KO. Let's see. Are you Clutch Magearna? No. Yeah, Dialga's just a really big problem for us. Fundamentally. So how would I beat Dialga? Like I mentioned, it could be a fighting type attack, overplay rough, although that wouldn't have even saved us in this position because they ended up Shadow Forcing anyway. I actually like the idea of Shuka Berry on the Magearna because it also helps out against Groudon, so I think I'm actually going to change that after this game. Because Goggles just hasn't been relevant at all, and I think the Victini slot could also just be replaced. I wanted to, like, feature Victini, but yeah, the problem is very few opponents are just going to give you that combo off. The last one was Zekrom as well, yeah. Maybe if I protected there, then I could have won with Magearna, but then the problem is if I protect, they can just double up into me. So Shuka Berry actually would have been the solution in this one. It might not have still won us the game, though. It depends on if Zekrom, like, the item on Zekrom. I was hoping it'd be, like, maybe Assault Vest. We get Trick Room up, Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, KO Zekrom, Dialga KOs Magearna. Then it's a Kyogre Dialga 1v1 where I have Assault Vest and Hail damage for a couple turns. I'll play out one more turn here. Because I guess they could, like, miss their attack with Zekrom. Yeah, actually, if you miss with Zekrom here, Ice Beam, like, actually KOs, we could theoretically win still. Oh, or we're just faster. But I don't think we get a one-hit KO here. And I still expect them to be Assault Vest. Yeah. Outrage. That's cool. Very cool. Nicely played. So, yeah, how would I have played this differently? Also Protect on Yveltal is another change. Like, I haven't really used Taunt. Safety Goggles hasn't really come into effect either, so I'm actually down to make some of those changes right now. I mean, I doubt it'll be relevant for, like, just the final game, but, you know, I think this is how you can adjust the team as you play with it in competitive Pokemon, right? It's like, okay, I find, like, it makes a lot of sense to tech in specifically if you are like, I expect to see this Pokemon a lot, or this Pokemon, like, is a really bad matchup for me, and by having this tech, like, Safety Goggles on the, yeah, the Magearna completely changes the matchup, but here it just, like, hasn't really been super relevant. And yeah, Amoonguss hasn't been nearly as common as, yeah, one may expect in this format. So I'm going to make some quick changes, actually, to the team, because, like, Protect on Yveltal and Shuka on Magearna would have helped out a lot there, and we'll see where we can go from there. And since it was actually... oh, I guess the awkward thing, though, is that we outsped Zekrom, and so if I set up Trick Room, Zekrom would just be able to KO Kyogre before I could move. So setting up Trick Room there probably wouldn't have won me the game anyway, but yeah. So I made a couple small changes, which include Protect on Yveltal, Shuka Berry on the Magearna, and then Black Sludge on Amoonguss as well. Like, Koba just literally has not been relevant at all in any of the games I've played either, and so, yeah. Once again, though, it's interesting, right? Because let's say you were building for a VGC tournament, right? Like, let's say you're competing at Worlds. Sometimes having a specific tech item or move can be worth it, even if it's just to sway one matchup, right? And let's say you only play that one matchup like once in 7 games. It can be worth it if it turns a losing matchup into a winning matchup, right? But since, like, if you're playing more games in terms of pure volume, especially on the ladder, like, it can be more beneficial to just have more, like an item that's a little bit more relevant regardless of the game, or a move that's a little bit more relevant regardless of the matchup, right? So, this is kind of like Rinya Sun, Groudon, Zacian, and Lunala, with Gastrodon, Grimmsnarl, and then Yveltal. Swap Yveltal with Charizard, and it's very close to Rinya Sun / Rinya Moon, which is kind of a term people use when you replace the Zacian with the Lunala. Okay. Interesting seeing Grimm and Gastrodon here. I think... Hey, like, we just changed to Shukaberry and Magearna. I think that could actually be really relevant. I'm kind of down for the Victini-Magearna combo with the Mungus plus... Do I want Zacian or Kyogre as the 4th? I think Assault Vest Kyogre is not bad here. I don't know if this is the best combo, but I just feel like, you know, we haven't really used Victini too much with this team, and I want to at least give it a shot here. So, yeah, the hope is to just snipe something off, get up Trick Room. I mean, if that happens, we'd be in amazing shape, especially because I do have the Shukaberry on the Magearna now, so I can handle, you know, ground-type attacks from Groudon, and then Amoonguss comes in and just Spores. That's Zacian Grimm. Okay, I'm totally okay with that. Mainly curious what Grimm wants to go for on turn 1. Like, do you have speed control to KO the Victini? Because I'm down here to just, Final Gambit. And Trick Room. I guess the other option was Dynamaxing Magearna and just max Steel Spiking to start the game. I'm also curious what they have in the back. Like, it could be... I mean, you'd expect Groudon, certainly. Okay, Zacian protects. That's fine by me. And they just Light Scream. That's totally cool. Okay, nice. I'll take that. So, we don't get Final Gambit off, but that is a-okay with me. We get Trick Room up. I mean, I can just Dynamax Magearna now and Steel Spike, right? Going into Amoonguss to give it a defense boost, though, is also pretty valuable here. So I'm down to go in and Steel Spike immediately onto Grimm. Yeah. This works. This way, I also get to conserve Victini for the end game. So they actually switch out the Zacian into Yveltal. They are looking really Magearna weak right now, especially since I now have the Shukaberry on it. Okay. Yeah, Magearna can snowball this pretty quickly, although... Actually, yeah, if I stayed in with Victini and not V-created, Final Gambited, I wouldn't have KO'd Yveltal most likely, because Yveltal's base HP is just really good. I'm curious if not plus one, a regular Magearna here can get a KO on a Grimmsnarl. I also could have opted to target Grimm on turn 1, but I think the nice thing is with Zacian and Grimmsnarl, neither of those can actually Dynamax, so I'm willing to just put on pressure there. So, they just set up both screens, which is fine by me. Okay. If we get a KO here, I think they're in really bad shape, but even if it doesn't KO, it's still fine. Okay, it does hang on with just a sliver there, but that's okay. The thing is, Magearna here doesn't even necessarily need to be Dynamax to thrive in this matchup, but I just maxed there to try to pick up a one-hit KO and get a defense boost along the way, because that's really valuable into their team. So like, I'm down to just click Spore now into Yveltal and then just Steel Spike into Grimm again. The thing is, like, once again, Magearna can snowball so quickly, right? We're aiming to get some... Well, I mean, Yveltal fundamentally is just not a great matchup for Victini. Okay, they go for Thunder Wave. Makes sense, that's your best option. I do Spore successfully into Yveltal, so that's good. Dealing with full Paras now is actually really scary. Let's see. Ah. Okay, that's definitely not fun. Yeah, that's actually really frustrating, because, like, I would have forced something to come out immediately. That's a shame. What do I want to do here? Ooh, I want to be careful about clicking Max Starfall, right? Because if I do, then I can't Spore what's in the back. Okay, I'm down to Protect here and Steel Spike. And then just Spore whatever's coming in the subsequent turn. Yeah, that para was really unfortunate, but it's okay. I could have played around it by clicking Rage Powder with the Moongus, but like a lot of Grimmsnarls don't even carry Thunder Wave, so yeah. Okay. It's more annoying because I don't even care about missing the KO. I really wanted the defense boost onto the Amoonguss. I'm just gonna Pollen Puff here and Dazzling Gleam. If I can get another set of Trick Room up, like, I think I'm still okay, but now I'm worried about Yveltal waking up here. I don't think an Oblivion Wing will just KO us, though, so it'll be okay. Then I can next turn Rage Powder Trick Room again. But yeah, they're just using Thunder Wave. It's their best strategy, so, you know, can't fault them for it, but just frustrating to eat back-to-back paras while Dynamaxed. Dude. What the heck is going on? 4 paras in a row. Okay. You know, it's still okay. I can just protect Trick Room here. Like, the fact I can get another set of Trick Room up is actually really ideal. Because we're slowly stalling out their screens as well. But this is very reminiscent of a certain semifinals set at Worlds many, many years ago. If I could have it my way in Gen 9, I would just get rid of full para as a concept and just make Thunder Wave like a pure speed reduction move and bring it back down to a fourth of your speed. Grim switches out. Yep, smart. There's Groudon. Yeah, like if paras didn't happen in this game, we would have just snowballed it so quickly. But credit to my opponent, right? Because yeah, like they realized, oh, my only way to really win this is to go for paras. Oh, if they're Dynamaxing Yveltal here, it might be Max Flare into the Magearna. And if that's the case, I'm done for. Okay. Yeah, Rage Powder may have been better there with the Moongus then. Let's see if they have Flare. They go for Airstream. Okay, that's perfect. I just need to not get para this one time. This one time and we're chilling. Please. Please. Okay. Yeah, it's still okay then, especially because they gave their speed boost onto Groudon, and so like my Kyogre is definitely outspeeding you under Trick Room now. It's just I still have to deal with so many turns of para, but whatever. Since I have the defense boost on both Pokemon here, I'm down to click Spore onto the Yveltal, since that's the max option, and just Dazzling Gleam here. But I just have to deal with para rolls every turn now, which is really scary. The main thing is I don't expect Groudon to KO Amoonguss unless maybe they use a fire-type attack onto it, but if you do that, and I put Yveltal to sleep, it's a free switch into Kyogre, Magearna gets a special attack boost, and then it's just Water Spell, Dazzling Gleam spam. Okay, we finally don't get parried here. Thank you. That's the more important one. Even if Magearna got parried, I think it'd be okay. But yeah, we're not doing that much with Gleam. That's okay, though. Looks like Assault Vest there. They actually do a Fire Punch, and they target Magearna, which is fine by me. Yveltal takes a turn of sleep. I could Pollen Puff here. I could Rage Powder, or I could just Spore. I think Spore is just best here. How many turns of screens do they have left? Last turn of Light Screen. The one reason I'd consider Pollen Puff is because Groudon could protect here. Yeah, actually, for that reason, I'm down to Pollen Puff here. Actually, Blades here. Okay, that's huge. Because I had the Shuka Berry. Yep, we survived thanks to that and the defense boost. And Yveltal stays asleep. Okay. Light Screen finally wears off. It's just like Magearna has the potential to snowball this game so much, but yeah. 2 turns of Trick Room. Light Screen is finally gone. Last turn of Reflect. I've got Kyogre and Victini in the back. Okay, Spore Groudon and Dazzling here. Like, Kyogre Water Spout also just kind of cleans up this game for me. Ah, Groudon finally does protect. Yeah, frustrating to... Okay, well, at least it doesn't even matter with the Mungus then, I suppose. Oh. Okay, Yveltal does take another turn of sleep, which is pretty clutch. This is just quite the game. Reflect finally wears out. Like, we still have a full set of Reflect here. Last turn of Trick Room. I mean, I'm down to just Spore and Gleam here again. Curious if they stay in with Groudon. I think they should consider switching out into Grimmsnarl, but they do stay in. Okay, that's huge, actually. See if we KO Yveltal here. That'd be really nice. Nice. The first knockout of the game happens 11 minutes in, but it happens. Talk about changes being relevant, though, right? In the last game, like, I was like, oh, I want Shuka Berry, Magearna, and then Black Sludge and Amoonguss, and both of those have already been relevant, so, yeah. This game just could have ended in just so much quicker, because Magearna could have snowballed it, but to my opponent's credit, they realized their only way of really winning was spamming Thunder Wave. Because otherwise, like, you just let me attack under Trick Room freely, right? So, yeah, it was absolutely the right approach. And when, you know, both of my Pokemon are paralyzed, like, the odds of attacking through are obviously not that great. So, can't fault them for going for it. But it's just kind of funny to play out. Yeah, this game still definitely isn't won either, especially because Groudon has a speed boost right now. Grimm's their last one, though, and we have Kyogre. I could get full parrot on either Pokemon right now still. I think I'm down to just click Spore into Zacian here and Trick Room. The risk is... what, that they just wake up immediately? Yeah. The thing is, Zacian can only target one Pokemon here. So let's see who it's blading. If I were them, I would blade Amoonguss and just hope Groudon wakes up. Yep. Nicely done. We survive thanks to the defense boost and the Black Sludge recovery, and Groudon stays asleep. Nice. Okay. Get Spore off into Zacian. And no full para. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That should win us the game at this point. I don't see how they beat Kyogre, but this was still just way too scary given the matchup that we had, in my opinion. I can just Pollen Puff now into Dazzling Gleam. Even if we get full parrot on both, at this point, Kyogre can win. But we set up Trick Room, what, 3 times in this game? Which is pretty crazy. Okay. Finally, no paras. Nice, nice. I shouldn't say finally. I mean, I've had plenty of turns where I didn't get paralyzed, but yeah. You can see how good Magearna was into their team, though, right? Thanks to Shuka Berry and the defense boosts. So, like, my idea was Magearna can just snowball so quickly because we get KO. Even with Grimmsnarl hanging on after that first turn, like the second turn, if we don't get parried, we get a knockout there and a defense boost to boot. And it forces them to switch into something immediately. But one thing we did get fairly lucky with in this game was my opponent taking like max sleep turns, right? Because yeah, if they just stayed awake for longer or woke up quicker, that could have been super bad for me. So Grim comes out. I mean, yeah, you can set up yeah, what do I want to do? Just rage. It doesn't matter actually here at this point, right? Like, do I even bother rage powdering? Because if I get parried, well, it doesn't matter if Magearna gets parried the rage powder. It doesn't matter actually. We have Kyogre at the back. I guess they get Thunder Wave Kyogre, I could stay infinitely paralyzed, but yeah, they end up forfeiting. So, yeah. The Shuka Berry was huge as well as the Black Sludge, right? Because without Black Sludge, Amoonguss wouldn't have hung on after all those turns, and without Shuka Berry, the Magearna would have just fainted. So, yeah, I'm glad to highlight, like, you know, making changes. Oh, it's Policy Groudon. Max HP, max attack. Zacian. Lefty's Gastrodon. Recover and Yawn, though, Ice Beam, which makes sense in this format. Power of Lunala. Moonblast. That's cool. And then no Trick Room either. Assault Vest Yveltal, Dark Pulse, Oblivion Wing, Psychic Snarl, and then Light Clay Grim. Yeah, T-Wave, Dual Screen, Sucker Punch. The point I wanted to make is it's cool to be able to feature changes for a team and show how they can be relevant immediately. Because most of the time on Road to Ranked, right, we just use one team, and I'm using a rental, so I can't even really make any edits to it. But I think one thing that's, you know, fun about Pokemon is when you have a team, you know, you can always iterate on it. And making changes is right. Like, you're always giving up something in order to make your changes, but in this game, for example, or from game 2 to game 3 here was super relevant, as we were able to just remove something or get rid of things that weren't really helping us much, and then like the changes immediately became relevant in the subsequent game, and that's always a good feeling. So yeah, I will post a rental for this new version so you can try it out yourselves as well, and I'll end the video with that. So this is the edited version. If you want to try it out yourselves, I put Protect on the Yveltal, as I mentioned, Black Sludge on the Amoonguss, and Shukaberry on the Magearna. Overall, this team was really fun, and I think that if there was anything else I'd change, I'd maybe consider replacing the Victini slot. I think a wide guard user could actually be really valuable for this team, because part of the problem was when I was, trying to set up Trick Room, for example, like with Magearna, I don't only really lay like Magearna Amoonguss, Magearna Victini, and it was kind of hard to like guarantee Trick Room to go up. So like a wide guard Lunala could be really interesting, because Lunala in itself can also threaten Trick Room, and with Shadow Shield, it's really hard to deal with both Lunala and Magearna with double Trick Room pressure. And so like, yeah, maybe wide guard Trick Room, Moongeist Beam plus Meteor Beam on Lunala to replace the Victini slot. Of course, though, I wanted to like see how good Victini can be in the format, right? But after my personal experience with it, at least with the Choice Scarf set, my answer is it is not exactly super consistent, and that's okay. But yeah, if you're trying to win, consistently, then you want a strategy that you can feel more confident in. So I'm sure there are plenty of other ways that Victini can be explored in this format, and I'm excited to see really what that looks like as time goes on. But yeah, just some food for thought. So thanks so much for watching Road to Ranked, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.